on the show. We want to hear from you guys. You know what I mean? Especially on TikTok and Twitter and all that good stuff. Let us know what's up. Also, to end things off, as you guys know, I'm a Ravens fan, and recently we have signed Odell Beckham Jr. A lot of different opinions from everybody. I'm not going to get into it yet. A lot of different opinions from everybody, but I'm going to talk about that a little bit. But to start things off, like I said, with the AFC South, we're going to talk about the Titans. I'm going to give our prediction on everything like we've always done, all right? So, Jay Butt, start you off, man. Titans, what you think?
Yeah, I was actually just kind of looking over their transactions for the offseason. They haven't really done too much. They re-signed Jeffrey Simmons, which was, I think, a big thing they wanted to get done. That was pretty much it. I know they released Taylor Lewan, starting left tackle for them for I think 8 or 9 years. They brought in Sean Bunting for corner, which will give a little bit of help in this secondary. With I think they're pretty young with the secondary. So, but other than that, nothing really too much for the Titans. I think they released Bud Dupree as well.
They did, yes. They cleared 9.35 million cap space with his release. So he's actually a huge loss. Like, I mean, yeah, he's past it. He's past his prime, but like Bud Dupree, like he was that dude when he was with Pittsburgh. I don't know if people remember, but Dupree was that edge rusher.
But Dupree was not like that when he was at Kentucky too, if I'm not mistaken. He was
Yeah,
like,
I think he was. Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, bro. I remember he used to give Florida the gloves a little bit.
Yep.
But to stay on topic, go ahead. I'm sorry, Omar. Go ahead, man. I know you have some thoughts too about the Titans.
Who was it? J-Butt? Or
Was it J Butt still going? Or
Oh no, I kind of just covered.
okay, well, I'm gonna give a huge shout out real quick to Aziz Al-Shire, who's actually new acquired linebacker for the Titans. He's a former Florida Atlantic Owl. He actually went undrafted for a lot of those people that don't know, and he's made the best out of his situation in the NFL. You know, he was with San Francisco for a while, and now he's going to Tennessee, and you know he's a starting linebacker. So shout out to him, you know, and also quick shout out to Josh Lambo, the kicker, who retired from the NFL. So you know those are kind of names that popped out to me when it comes to the Titans. And as far as them as a group, I think they take a bit of a step back. You know, I don't think they're going to be. Well, I mean, if we think about it, the Titans were what, number 1 seed 2 years ago, right?
yeah, was that the year they lost to the Bengals in the first round?
That is correct. Yes.
Yeah.
So you think about it, it's like wow, like they've kind of fallen off a little bit. Like you know, like was that a kind of like a miracle run in you know in the regular season for them? Like who were they? Because you know they had a little bit of a I don't know. It was a weird year for them this past year, but I just don't think they're gonna be that team anymore. You know, I don't think it's a team that's gonna contend. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. Talking about the Titans, you know how we always talk about every team in the NFL has that 2 to 3 year like window to win a championship.
Yeah.
And I think kind of like what you just said, like they were at the top 2 years ago, but the general manager at the time, I think he took him off the top when he traded away AJ Brown.
Oh yeah, that was.
Yeah, recently I think that's one of the dumbest moves I've seen in a while. I don't even know who they got him for, but obviously it doesn't mean we don't remember who.
A bag of chips, probably.
Bag of chips and the Swisher blunt. That's what they got. You know what I mean? So I think that
they're definitely in a rebuild mode. Because there's reports coming out that they're not happy with Malik Willis. Ryan Tannehill is not a good quarterback. He is average, subpar at this point in his career. AJ Brown, I think that's the key right there. I think Greg hit it right there with the AJ Brown. When they traded him, that was them saying, "Okay, it's time to cut all the ties with the old regime," as you would say, and just they hired their new GM last year or this offseason, and they've started to cut people left and right that were on the old team. So it's definitely, I don't think they'll win 8 games.
Yeah.
I think it'll be 7 to 8 games for them.
Yeah, just to kind of end things off. Oh, Ed, you want to say anything about Titans before we move on to the next team? just to kind of off my final thoughts on the Titans. Like I just said, they kind of took themselves out that window, trading away AJ Brown. That was the dumbest decision I've seen in a while. And with Derrick Henry, I think he turns 28 this upcoming season, or 29.
28.
28. So I mean,
I hate drawing comparisons with running backs and whatnot, but we all know what the running back position has become in the NFL. And we saw Todd Gurley and Le'Veon Bell's careers fall short of 28. So what Derrick Henry is doing now is great, because I thought he had a pretty good season last year. Obviously, some injuries and whatnot, but he's still that dude. I think he's still got something left in the tank. Like you said, Greg, I think he's kind of getting past it. 28. You go into your 30s as a running back. You're not going to be who you were.
Yeah, unfortunately. So hopefully, I'll just for the best for him. I wish that he just gets traded and goes to a contender. Hopefully, in the NFC though. Don't go to Chiefs or anything crazy.
Please, God.
Please. Just go to somewhere where you can make a team.
Exactly.
There, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, but yeah, moving on. Let's talk about the Texans. Not much to talk about there, but if we'll start with Ed. I know he just joined in, but Ed, you want to talk about the Texans for a little bit first?
The Texans. Why not to talk about the Texans are? I don't really know what they've signed. They've kind of been quiet, to be honest. Other than they have a lot of talk about potentially, drafting a high quarterback in the draft. But what else have they done? Let's see. I feel like the Texans are always the same team ever since like the 2010s, 2011, 2012 season, where they made the playoffs. They were a decent team. And then ever since then, J.J. Watt was like carrying that team. They made the playoffs once with J.J. Watt, and that was over.
Yeah.
That's just what it seems.
Singletary.
I'm looking I'm looking at their. They traded away Brandon Cooks to the Cowboys. I don't know. They signed. Okay, so this is the only thing that they actually did was re-sign Laramie Tunsil for a 3-year, $75 million contract. So they're solidifying that offensive line for when they draft a quarterback in the draft next week or 2 weeks from now. Other than that, they signed Dalton Schultz for 1 year, Devin Singletary for 1 year. I think he's mid, so it's nothing very big. Corey Littleton, who the hell is that? Denzel Perryman's about 48 years old. I remember when he was playing for Miami Hurricanes in 2013 versus the Florida Gators. Like, the dude is old already. Steven Sims Jr. It's just a bunch of nobodies contract, I don't know what they're trying to do. They're not really going hard in the free agency. I think they're just they're putting all their eggs in a basket with the draft. Because they did draft very well last year. They got Dameon Pierce at the running back, who's a stud. They had the young wide receiver from Alabama, but unfortunately he couldn't really play much because he had cancer. But he beat it, which is good. So shout out to him. Yeah, the main thing is just if they can fix that offensive line, they could do something offensively because their defense is not bad. I don't know if you remember their defense with they have the guy from Florida, Grenard, and then they got another young buck who's literally a rookie, and they were doing pretty decent. And then they have the corner from LSU, Stingley. So their defense is not too bad. They were actually in a lot of games. They just couldn't finish because they couldn't score. So if they can draft very well, that's all I can really say about the Houston. Their free agency is kind of garbage. But if they can draft as well as they did last year, then we'll see what they do. But they also fired their coach last year after 1 season. So it's just a weird organization, man. Fired him after winning the game. Or I guess he won the game that cost him the first overall pick, and then they fired him. Weird.
Well, I'm gonna play a little bit of a devil's advocate here because I think the Texans didn't sign nobodies. I think they're solid players. Like all the players they signed, they're like solid. Like Devin Singletary, in my opinion, like he's a solid running back. And I think if you put him in a system where it's a 1-2 with Dameon Pierce and Devin Singletary, then I feel like he would, he could do be a good mix-up in the running game. Because I think Singletary can catch the ball out of the backfield very well. He's a small guy. He runs fast. And then you got a power pack and Damian Pierce. That's going to be a great 1-2 punch for the Texans right there. They got Tunsil back. That's going to be great for them. Having that veteran presence in the offensive line. Noah Brown from the Cowboys, he might look you might look at him. He's like, it's probably nobody. But Noah Brown last year, he showed some flashes that he could be like a wide receiver too on a team. Like, Cooper Rush was throwing him the ball for a few games because I think if I'm not mistaken, who was it? Gallup, I think that was missing for the Cowboys for a little bit.
Everybody was missing for the Cowboys.
Yeah. So when Gallup was out, Noah Brown had to fill in some shoes, and he looked pretty good out there. So I think these are pieces that the Texans are acquiring that they're nice. They're not eye-popping names, but if the offensive can get it going, the offense can get it going for the Texans, I think they'll be a solid team. I really do. Just like Eddie said, it's just the offense that needs to improve. And it doesn't just start with the players. It also starts with the coaching staff. Like what?
It don't even start from there, Omar. Well, let's be honest. It starts from the whoever's the top guy with the Texans. It starts with the VP. It starts with the owner.
Oh yeah,
they need to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? They need to finally figure it out.
Finally, they're the newest franchise in the NFL, and typically what we see from new franchises like the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Panthers, the Texans is like, what have they really been since they've been in the NFL? If we really think about it, they've been kind of out of those three franchises that I named, I think the Texans obviously have been the most failed franchise, but they've also are the newest one. But we can expect this from new franchises in the NFL. They're not going to just come out and give you a product. So I think it is. Yes, it is a front office. It is a front office problem.
Well, I mean, you see, they did hire DeMeco Ryans. I think that's a great hire defensively. I think defensively they're going to actually have an identity. You have guys like Grenard, Stingley, and other young guys. It's great. You know what I'm saying? But offensively, I just feel like the Texans need to. What I mean by the Texans is that to be in the state of Texas, you're in Texas where football is basically, it's a religion. You have the Cowboys being successful every single year. It doesn't matter who they have on offense, who they have on defense. They're always successful. They win a couple, they win their games. They don't win any playoffs and they don't win anything, but they win games. People go through the games. So for the Houston Texans to be this garbage for this long and constantly being a top 5 pick, it's just really annoying because they just haven't figured it out. And you have players like J.J. Watt who wasted their whole career there. You know what I'm saying? J.J. Watt getting Defensive Player of the Years back-to-back years, playing on the offense, catching passes and getting touchdowns, getting Walter Payton awards. So it's just a franchise that have wasted a lot of talent in their young career that the Texans are. Their short little history. They've had great players, but they don't really do anything with them. So I don't want them to be like the next Lions where they don't do anything with great players.
The Lions are worse. They've been around for longer.
I know. I think that the Lions are by far the worst organization to have that much talent and never do anything.
Yeah,
I agree. J-Bot, you got any thoughts on the Titans? I'm sorry, Texans.
Actually, I agree with Omar with pretty much his takes. I think all the picks that they had were not the biggest names, biggest money guys, but they're good pieces for the team. They also traded for Shaq Mason, so more veteran offensive line. He didn't look too good last year, but I mean he's been a solid offensive lineman for years before. So if he can get that turned around, you got him on the line plus Tunsil. It's really going to be up to, I think, who's going to be the quarterback next year, whether it's Stroud or Young. So to me, that is going to decide how their season goes.
We got Matt saying the Panthers have been okay with the short.
I agree
they have making 2 Super Bowls.
No, I agree. He has a good point, but they need to win one. You know what I'm saying? And I think they've had good teams to be able.
I also go ahead.
Not like in 2015 they were supposed to beat the Broncos, but obviously that was And 2003, 2004, I think they went up against the Patriots, and that was a dynasty. So they've kind of been unlucky, but I've also thought they've had the talent to at least get one out of the two. But that's just me.
Yeah. I'm going to say my thoughts real quick on the Texans before I move on. Kind of like what Ed said, I agree with what he said. They just wasted so much talent in that short little time they've been here. Like J.J. Watt, D-Hop, Deshaun Watson. Well, yeah. Well, he was at his best before he started acting crazy.
And dude from Miami. What's his name? The wide receiver. Good as hell. What's his name?
Andre Johnson.
Andre Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
No, I was gonna say they haven't been like mediocre the whole time. They've had ups and downs the last 15 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, for like the past 8 years, they've been absolute garbage.
Yeah. I was gonna say, if they draft right, I think they might get Bryce Young. I think Panthers are getting C.J. Stroud first overall. I think if they get the right weapons around, Bryce Young, and then definitely protect him right, they could do something. Definitely keep going in that right direction. Moving on with the Jaguars, I think we all can agree they were kind of fun to watch.
Ball.
Ed, you look excited, so I'm gonna let you start it off.
Nah, I'm not excited, man. I already started up the next time. Let Justin start this one.
Got you. All right, Justin, what you got about the Jags since you hate them?
I hate the Jags. I got no hate for the Jags. Other than their garbage. No.
See.
They've really been pretty quiet. I believe they added Johnson from the Browns, who I think could be a good backup behind ETN.
Who? Dearness Johnson?
I'm kidding. I am kidding.
I was about to say, if you remember last season, he played in like 3 games that he started when Hunt and Chubb got hurt. He did good. He looked good. But other than that, I mean, they re-signed Trey Herndon, re-signed Adam Gaddis, Trayvon Campbell was re-signed. But the one thing I have heard is Calais Campbell may be coming back to Jacksonville. And that if that happens, like it could be them trying to make a push for this year just to solidify a little bit better of a defensive line, because their secondary was really good last year, and the offense was towards the end of the year was starting to get it together. That offense is going to be really scary this year, I feel like. I think they're the favorites in this division this year.
I can see that. I can see that being the case. I think it's time too. It's time. Like
it's definitely they're very overdue.
Yeah, the Jags need to step it up. Doug Peterson needs to, carry this team. He needs to do exactly what he did with the Eagles in 2017 and do the same thing with the Jags. Like, Trevor Lawrence, Carson Wentz, kind of similar situation a little bit. Second, third year, they're on the rise. The Jags, talking about the secondary, J-Bub mentioned it earlier. I'm gonna tell the Jacksonville general manager right here on camera. If you know what's if you know what's good for you, if you really know what's good for you, you re-sign and you bring back Shaq Griffin. But that's if you want. You go ahead
that man's barbecue chicken, bro.
They let him go, and that's fine, and that's okay. They let him go. He was CB2 last year. I didn't think he was all. I mean, everybody has their reasons of letting and releasing players and whatnot, and I respect that, but I think he's still a piece that could offer something for Jacksonville, and he's still a free agent right now. That could be.
Yeah. The thing is, the contract that he got is not what he's worth. They cut him and they cleared $13 million in cap space.
They also changed their defense last year. So their whole scheme changed when Peterson came in.
And I don't know if Omar, I honestly don't know if you actually watched some of the games, but Griffin did not look good. And he was actually taking a step back from the guy, I'd be forgetting all these people's names, but he played for Georgia. And everybody thought Campbell. Everybody thought that Campbell was overrated, garbage, 4th round pick, whatever it was. He actually turned out to be really good and took Griffin's spot.
Mm-hmm.
So Griffin, he's a decent cornerback. He's just not worth what that contract was.
Eddie.
So if they can bring him back for $4 million, a little bit less, but 13 is insane, bro.
I'm gonna interrupt you, Rook. I'm sorry. It's the UCF propaganda. I'm sorry. We're pushing
It's all good.
agendas here.
I know you're pushing agendas, bro. I respect it. I respect it, bro. But $13 million they could use it to, because I'm looking at at who they've signed, and they haven't really signed much. They've just been kind of letting people go here, signing a guard here.
Yeah.
I mean, what really? Who have they signed other than Dearness Johnson?
I mean, but look at
That's
the
it.
team they have already without the additions. Like, bro,
Oh,
okay.
Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram.
Yeah, they re-signed him. They tagged him. No, like I have ETN on my fantasy this year, and I think he'll have a big year. I think his third year in the NFL, like he needs to really, really step it up. So
I think the Jags will be. I think that actually I don't think the Jags are going to win the AFC South. They are going to win. I'm telling you that right now on whatever day it is, April 10th. They are going to win the AFC South. Every other team is a 2-3 steps behind.
yeah,
The only team that I can see challenging the Jags is the Colts. If the Colts get a decent quarterback with the pieces that they have on the wide receivers, they have Jonathan Taylor at running back. Their defense is not horrible. They could potentially dethrone Jags, but I think the Jags should run with this division and win easily because we're talking about a team with Trevor Lawrence coming back for his third, fourth year. They got Etienne. They have a decent offensive line, but they did lose Jonathan Taylor. Wait, yeah, no, what's his name?
Josh.
Taylor from the Gators. They did lose him at the right tackle, so who's
Jawan.
going to replace that?
Jawan
Taylor.
Jawan.
If they, who are they going to replace that person with? You know what I'm saying? They got Evan Ingram back, and they also got Calvin Ridley back. So you're talking about Calvin Ridley with Trevor Lawrence in that offense. That defense is disgusting already. So Jags should win it easily. There's no questions asked. If you don't lose it to me, is a failure of the season. You should win it. You should be a high seed in the upcoming playoffs.
Yeah. I like what you said. I think that's not a bold prediction. I think that's just being honest that the Jags are going to win the AFC South easily. I want to say that I think Doug Peterson and Trevor Lawrence are a match made in heaven. I think he's a perfect coach for Trevor Lawrence. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to develop beautifully underneath Doug Peterson. I think they're going to continue to grow together and get better together. Next year, especially with them getting Calvin Ridley back and ETN getting into himself and them getting that good, rekindling, not rekindling, but you know what I mean, going along with that Clemson connection they had in college, building upon that as well and going forward. I think the Jags will be dangerous, bro. I'm not going to say anything crazy though, but I do think they're going to be a little bit dangerous. I think that's a team that I wouldn't be surprised if they won a first round game in the playoffs next year. I wouldn't be surprised,
Yep.
But yeah, that's all I really got to say about them. Hope to see them do better. It's a Florida team. I'm a Florida guy, so I will always kind of secretly root for any Florida NFL team.
We will always push the agenda for Florida.
Not the Bucks.
Not the Bucks. I'll root for the Jags before the Bucks any day.
No, not the Bucks. I'm
sorry. Damn, that's so crazy. Tampa's getting so much hate right now. What?
I don't know what it is, bro. I don't like Tampa either. So moving on.
That's all you need to know.
And I'm gonna let you talk about the Colts first because you talked about them a little bit when you talk about the Jags. So I want to ask you. Obviously, last year they did horrible. What do you think went wrong last year? What do you see going with them for next year?
The thing that went wrong with the Indianapolis Colts is the fact that Andrew Luck is not their quarterback anymore. Let's be honest; they have not been the same since he retired. Yeah. They have had 5 different starting quarterbacks in the 5 years that he's been gone. Every single quarterback sucks. They tried to get Carson Wentz. He sucked ass.
They were all pushing 40 except for Wentz.
Right. And Brissett that 1 year when he was maybe he can have the starting position, which he didn't do too bad. The team just sucked.
Yeah, I was about to say let's slow it down on Brissett. I didn't think he did all that.
No, I don't blame Brissett for not. I don't blame Brissett for not having the starting position. I blame the team for being garbage and not being able to do anything for them.
Yeah.
So I think what's wrong with the Colts is the fact that they don't have any continuity in the quarterback position. They haven't drafted a quarterback that's decent enough to take the reins, and then every single free agency that they get, it's garbage. They don't do anything. They don't. It doesn't fit their offense. It doesn't do good. So if they can figure out a quarterback, if they draft a quarterback and they stick with him for 3 years, and don't quit on him after the first year. Give him the 3 full years for him to develop. Then maybe they could do something. Also, what's crazy to me is that they signed a kicker for $22 million over 4 years. Since when are kickers getting? And Justin asked me this earlier. Like, since when do kickers get these much fucking money? I don't get it. We're talking about $22 million for a kicker. If you're not Justin Tucker, I don't know why you're getting paid like that. Let's be honest. Tucker's that's it. Tucker's the only one that deserves it. It's a freaking kicker. You can find one on the side of the road.
List of kickers that deserve that type of money. One, Justin Tucker.
Yeah.
We're talking about Justin Tucker. He deserves whatever you want to pay him. He deserves it. But then you got maybe Lambo, but
Buckner.
He's retired.
Buckner.
He was pretty inaccurate last season.
So we're talking about Justin Tucker and then everyone else.
Yeah.
So for this guy to get $22 million, he better not miss one field goal for the Colts.
Nothing, bro. Nathaniel.
Nothing.
That's like
Nothing.
It's literally like six. It's like 6.25 a year
For kicking a damn ball.
Yeah.
And then we're talking about, and we'll get to this later. And we were like, me personally, I was saying that this man Odell at most should be getting maybe 7 a year. You know what I'm saying? Maybe 7. So we're talking about we paying 6.25 for a freaking kicker. He better not miss a field goal. He better be making game winners all the time. I don't want to hear no excuses from this guy.
Zero.
They got Stephon Gilmore, which is a good addition to their defense, and they also got a good backup in Gardner Minshew. Gardner Minshew is not a starter; he's a good backup. He's going to be like another Fitzpatrick, and that's really and Isaiah McKenzie. Other than that, not really much going on for them, other than those 3 decent signing. And I don't know how this guy's still in the NFL. Taven Bryan, what a lie of a player! I thought he was going to be fantastic coming out of Florida. Absolute bust fried the Jags. Went over to another team. Absolute bust. He's still getting signs. So shout out to him getting that money. But my goodness, I said so many lies about Taven Bryan. It's not even funny.
We thought we were gonna be next TJ Watt out of Florida, right?
I thought he was going to be fantastic, man. He was very dominant at Florida.
He was.
I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened with the Jags. I don't think the Jags coached him well, and then he went to another team and he barely got any playing time, and now he's with the Colts. So hopefully he can turn it around there, but he should be already 27, 28 years old. So kind of at the latter end of the career.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out to the best Florida defensive end in the last 10 years, Carlos Dunlap.
Yeah.
But shout out to him.
That's been more than 10 years, my guy.
That's
I know.
a long time ago.
I know he entered the league in 2009. I'm not dumb. I'm just saying he's been in the last 10 years. He's been UF's best defensive end.
Oh, by far, he's been. If you want to talk accolades and NFL career, he's definitely one of the best. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to say anything about the Colts, Jay Butt? My bad. I'm sorry.
I'm real short about the Colts. I think if they're smart, they'll go Richardson at 4. Minshew is good enough to use for the first 7-8 games of the year. Get the offense running, get AR a few games to be in practice, get used to seeing NFL reps, let him get used to preseason, and then let AR come out. So I think if they draft AR, they can definitely be the second best team in the AFC. Their roster is not that bad. Pittman's really good. JT will obviously have a big workload this year. He's got to stay healthy. But I think if they draft right, they can definitely make a push for that division.
Yeah. Get my thoughts really quick on them.
Yo, we got 3 people live, man.
What's up?
I said we got 3 people live, man. It's a good day. Hey, we're making progress out here.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
From
Love to
1
see
to
it.
3.
Hey, bro, I'll take it. Just about the Colts real quick. I mean, I still don't know what the hell happened last year. I would expect them to at least make the playoffs. I don't know what happened, but they still got the best interior or lineman in the country. I mean, in the NFL, in my opinion, Quentin Nelson. I think he's a top 5 player in the league as well. I also hope that Jonathan Taylor gets back healthy or whatever happens to him. He comes back, has a better season. And I hope that, AR goes in there and obviously won't dominate in the beginning, but, definitely gets used to NFL and continues to grow. But moving on, we're done with the AFC South. We want to talk about some things, guys. Matt, you got some rapid fire questions. You guys pick one or the other, okay?
Okay.
So,
Let's do it.
All
Hey,
right.
where people watching, y'all send comments on who y'all pick so I can post it up here too.
Yes. All right. So it's a little thing we're gonna be doing now called This or That. All right. So
This or that.
Pick one. So the 2016 Broncos defense or the 2012 Ravens defense. Which defense is better?
Oh my gosh, this isn't even. I don't think this is close.
Oh Lord.
I don't think it's close.
Whoa.
I don't think it's close. I mean.
All right. All right. Well, then, what's your answer, Brandon? What's your answer?
The 2012 Ravens.
Yeah, I
It's
agree.
the 2012 Ravens, and this goes with all due respect to 2016 Broncos, which I think that was the year Von Miller won the Super Bowl MVP, if I'm not mistaken, right?
That's the year that's the year the defense carried Peyton Manning to the
Okay. Yeah. No, I remember that Broncos defense, and that goes, with a lot of respect to them and what they
absolutely mollywop Cam Newton in the Super Bowl.
No, they did. No, that was some crazy stuff. I just feel like the Ravens at that time, they were going up against a peak Pittsburgh Steelers offense and a peak Patriots offense as well, and then they had to go against a completely new form of NFL offense with the 49ers that introduced that triple option that Kaepernick was just going crazy in, and they stopped him too. And it's just like, wow, like, and then you look at the names.
Yeah, look at the names on that team.
And it's like
I'm not basing off of names, so I'm gonna say the Broncos.
No.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna say the Broncos. The Broncos literally carried Peyton Manning to the Super Bowl.
So,
carried the whole season.
Carolina's O-line was awful.
I'm not basing it only on the Carolina's O-line. The whole season, Peyton Manning had a freaking broken arm as a freaking throwing. He cannot throw farther than 20 yards. And their defense still took him to the Super Bowl.
The Ravens had Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco went literally crazy that season. What are you talking about? He literally said, I'm going to get paid after I win the Super Bowl, and he got paid after that.
The defense just was still crazy. It's just if you look at the numbers overall, that defense, the 2012 Ravens defense, was one of the best of the decade.
But that's the
same with the Broncos.
But Eddie, the thing is here is like also like not just the names. I said that just to add on to it, but if you really look at the Patriots and what they had going on offensively and the Pittsburgh Steelers, which they had to see, if I'm not mistaken, 3 times that year because they also saw them in the playoffs, or at least 2 times, minimum 2 times. They have to see the Steelers. And
yes.
This
is the same thing happened in 2015.
I know.
You're talking about prime. You're talking prime AB and prime Le'Veon Bell.
Listen though. When you talk about like, I look at the Ravens, right? And you talk about the Bengals also. I know people are gonna be like, the Bengals, look, bro. The Bengals were a decent team. Like when Marvin Lewis was there, they could never win a playoff game. But they were like 13-3, 12-4, 11-5. The Bengals were a good team. They were a really good team, and they had to face the Bengals too. You know what I'm saying? The Browns, out of the question. We obviously know that they didn't have an effect, but it's a tough division. It's a tough division that the Ravens, had to face, and that's not discrediting the Broncos, but you could actually make a case that
the Broncos division at 16 wasn't good.
It wasn't. Yeah, you can make a case that they were facing teams that, the Raiders. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
The Chiefs weren't good back then.
No, the Chiefs, yeah, they weren't who they are now. So,
yeah.
Like I said, I respect I respect the Broncos a lot. I respect what they did. Le'Veon, my gosh, he left my head. Von Miller. Von Miller, he was on another level. Like, yeah, I went blank. Von Miller was on another level, and he was getting comparisons to Lawrence Taylor. Like when you start getting comparisons to LT, that's how you know.
I'm gonna do it like this. Let's do it like this. Let's break it down. I'm gonna break it down into D-line, linebackers, and secondary. All right.
Ooh, all
right. Defense, okay.
All right, go.
So
speed round.
It's between those two.
No explanations. Just
it's between those two teams still. All right.
All
so
right.
D-line, Ravens or Broncos?
Go ahead. I'm not gonna start off.
Who do you think though? Who do you think, Jay? But just go real quick.
D-line.
Ravens or Broncos of those 2 years?
I'll give the D-line. I'll give the D-line to the Broncos.
Ed?
Broncos. They had DeMarcus Ware, Von Miller, Malik Jackson, and Danny Trevathan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we all can agree that a better D-line. But linebackers, definitely.
Ravens.
Ravens take it. Well, I was gonna agree with the D-line. I think the Broncos in the defensive line, but the linebackers is definitely a Ravens take it. Now secondary is kind of,
secondary is tough. Secondary is tough because Aqib Talib. They had, who else did they have? Number 25. I forgot his name. Fuck.
Chris
I know that.
Harris.
TJ Ward too.
Chris Harris Jr. and TJ Ward.
Man. And then we had one of the best safeties of all time, Ed Reed. Yep. Even though it wasn't prime Ed Reed, it was still Ed Reed.
Yeah, it wasn't prime Ed Reed, but you know what? He was still doing his thing back there.
Yeah, that's tough. Man, Jimmy Smith was like that too, though.
Yeah, I got to go Ravens.
Jimmy Smith was like that too. So, I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to go Ravens, though. I'm going to be a little biased. Fuck it. Ravens. Jay, but you got Ravens too?
Yeah, I got Ravens.
Ed, what you got, Ed?
Broncos. As a unit overall.
Broncos went 9-7 that year, going into the playoffs.
Yeah. And they won the
Super
Bowl.
What you got?
Yeah.
Omar, secondary. Broncos secondary or Ravens secondary?
It's tough, but I'm gonna go with the Ravens.
I like it. There we go. All right, moving on. Next one. Now this is defense only. Don't think about everything else they did. Just strictly defense, okay? Prime JJ Watt or prime Von Miller? Strictly
not
defense.
even a question. JJ Watt. Not even a question.
Ooh.
JJ Watt was basically what Aaron Donald became in his prime.
Talking about JJ Watt, JJ Watt, second year he came in already defensive player of the year.
He was
back to back 2014, 2015.
2 to 3 people trying to block him. JJ Watt for sure.
He even played offense and caught touchdowns. No, that's JJ Watt.
Yeah.
Von Miller's a hell of a player though, because Von Miller also got defensive rookie of the year. He has 2 Super Bowls, hella sacks as well, and overall has been a little bit more healthy than JJ Watt. But JJ Watt in his prime was absolutely insane.
Yeah,
insane. He was unblockable at like. But you guys want to know what's like? What I think about these two players is that Von Miller was a finesse guy. JJ Watt would literally just he would just get you and put you on the ground and get to the quarterback. That was JJ Watt, and I find that a little bit more impressive. And Von Miller is a very finesse guy. He'll shed the block. He'll get back there so quick. But JJ
his bull rush was elite though.
It was not taking any anything away from him on that, but my goodness, JJ Watt was
crazy.
Yeah, I was gonna say because you don't really know too many 3 techniques that can get to the quarterback like that fast every single time. You know what I mean? Especially like that 3-4 defensive end position. Like that's not known to be a spot to get sacks in. That's a spot to just eat up blocks and then stop the O-lineman from getting to the second level. Yeah. And he changed that position. You know what I mean?
Yep. So no, I mean it's JJ Watt for me. Will always be JJ Watt.
Yeah. All right. Here's another one. Palomalu or Ed Reed?
Oh my God!
Oh man!
You had to give this.
I had to.
All right. No, honestly, I'm gonna be the first one to tell you guys this that there really is no wrong answer with this. It comes down to your preference. I don't think that one was like, oh, he's better than the other. Like, I think it really becomes a preference thing with these two guys. I don't know. You guys let me know, but I'm taking Ed Reed because of preference. That's just me. I feel like Ed Reed was a little bit more of a ball hawk than Polamalu. And I like that. I like that. In terms of interception, sorry, because ball hawk, you can. Polamalu was a magnet too. He'll get to the ball anywhere on the field, but Ed Reed just had a knack for interceptions, man. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, man. I think because Polamalu, he could play every position on the field, which is insane in football. You know what I mean? Like you can line him up anywhere, and he's a factor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like Ed Reed is he just understood the game to just a different level. You know what I mean? Like he's like the only guy I've seen Bill Belichick really like give constant praise to, no matter what. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think I'm taking Ed Reed. Trying to be non-biased, but even though Polamalu's like top 5 safety ever, I'm still taking Ed Reed.
Like I said, guys, I don't think it's wrong. It comes to preference. I really do. I think it's a preference.
What about you, Jay Butt? Who you got?
Kind of stuck between it. I gotta say Polamalu. I don't know. I really like Ed Reed, but I remember like some of the first games I watched of the NFL was the Steelers, and I remember that long hair and being like, "Who the hell is this dude?" And he was all over the fucking field, lining up at linebacker. He'd come on a blitz, blow up the running back. Which I'm not saying the hardest hitting person I've seen is probably Ed Reed as far as at the safety position. But how he's had some
go ahead.
He's had some of the nastiest hits.
Okay.
But I feel like Polamalu he's more versatile than Ed Reed.
Yeah.
And he's a little bit bigger, so that gives him a little bit more of the strength. But for what I'm saying is, I'm not saying like Ed Reed is the strongest safety for his size, because he's not the biggest safety at all. But for his size, that man be hitting.
Facts.
You can watch. There's probably like a 5 to 10 minute highlights of just him laying people out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, like Omar said, there's no wrong answer. Even though I'm trying not to cook you up right now. But nah, it's all good. It's all good, bro. Nah, it's all good. One last one before we go into the Ravens stuff. All right. Antonio Brown, prime Antonio Brown, or prime Julio Jones?
Troy Polamalu.
Oh.
Continue.
Ed.
It's all good. We're good.
All right, let's go.
I know you're good.
I just wanted to sneak it in. Let's move on.
Actually, no, we're gonna scratch that. We'll save that for next week. I have some more. Obviously, we'll save those for next week. But yeah, let's talk about the Ravens. Elephant in the room. Title of the show. So I'm gonna speak last, but Odell Beckham Jr. as of yesterday, which was April 9th, 23, signed an $18 million 1-year contract with my Baltimore Ravens. Initial reactions. We'll start with Omar, and then we'll kind of work our way around.
My initial reaction was this a move to satisfy Lamar, or was this a move to, we're looking for receivers, and that's probably the best option we got, so we're just going to get OBJ. I can't tell what it was from the Ravens. I can tell if it was, or is it both? It could be both. So I'm going to assume it's both. And, I'm happy for Lamar if, he comes back, if he wants to play for the Ravens and he has OBJ, like, he's a good receiver. I don't care if he's 30 years old. Like, that's a veteran receiver. He's going to get receptions. He's going to get yards. And he's probably top 10 receiver in the last decade. And I think a lot of people kind of forget that just because of the look. Eddie's giving me the eyebrow because he thought I was going to sneak top 5 in there. No. But, a lot of people have kind of forgotten what OBJ has been because of his injuries in the previous years, and his stint with the Browns wasn't really all that. But I think with a quarterback like Lamar, I think you can, get a little bit of chemistry with him and keep him, up there with being a top 10 receiver in the league. I mean, yeah, he's old, but I think he can still do it.
I like it. Jay, but initial reactions and your thoughts.
I felt like it was a move to try and satisfy Lamar, but at the same time, I don't think Lamar looks at it as, oh, we just got OBJ, so I'm going to play on this 1-year deal. I think
Right.
Lamar still got in his own head, I want my money. Like, so you're paying an older receiver $18 million that the last 2 seasons he's been on the field, he's ended in an injury. And I mean, he's going to come back as long as he's healthy. He's going to make an impact. It's just, will it be with Lamar? I hope it is, because that offense could be really good. I think Dobbins came on really well at the end of the season. So hopefully, I just hope Lamar comes back. Hopefully they get a deal done. I know Lamar and him were on FaceTime the other night.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ed, initial reactions, thoughts, and do you see him as any type of threat as a Steelers fan?
Initial thought, I started laughing.
Oh my God.
We're talking about a receiver with shredded chicken knees for the past 2 years. Barbecue shredded chicken knees, bro, for 2 years straight. Okay. I started laughing at the fact that the amount of money given to him is absolutely absurd. But I think that he is a good. I'm gonna get my Steelers goggles out of the way. I think that he's a decent wide receiver. He's just older in age, and he has to come back after having 2 years where he tore his ACL on the same knee. Back to back. That's major, because it could happen again. But will he be a good wide receiver for Lamar? Absolutely. I think that honestly, right now he walks in. Who's your other wide receiver?
Duvernay.
Yeah, that's so. Let's Odell's wide receiver 1. Bro. There's no questions asked there. So all right, off the bat, he's wide receiver 1. So I guess that's what you would pay him, the $18 million. Will the offense be good? It's all based in Lamar comes back and what kind of offense they run, because I don't trust this guy running the ball. The dude got freaking screws coming out of his skin. It's insane. We've all seen the picture. If you haven't seen it, we'll post it on this chat too. But with Mark Andrews, Lamar Jackson, and Odell, that could be a very good offense. It's just a matter of fact, who do you add a wide receiver 2 and 3? Duvernay's ass. So I don't know why people are saying his name up here. Come on, bro.
Come on, man.
Rashad Bateman? Come on. He was a first-round pick.
Yeah.
Come on. Be serious, Greg.
I'm dead ass. I'm so that was
Didn't he play only a few games?
Bro, come on. There's no way you just said that, man.
Wasn't he injured?
Who?
He was.
Isn't that why he didn't play?
Whether he's injured or not, he's still garbage.
He got broken hands. That's what's wrong with him.
He can't catch. How can you be a wide receiver and not catch? Go play DV immediately.
Why take him?
No, I mean Odell is wide receiver 1 with the Ravens. Will he make them better? Who the hell knows? Because nobody knows what Lamar's doing on offense. I just feel those $18 million that they gave him could have been used in a smarter way in getting Lamar Jackson. That is just my opinion. If you really truly want Lamar Jackson, those $18 million that you allocated for a wide receiver with barbecue shredded chicken knees, that could have gone to Lamar Jackson. Increases overall his guaranteed money. He signs back with the Ravens. You have a quarterback for the next 10 years. But instead, you allocated those $18 million over to a wide receiver that's older in age, has gotten injured over and over again, and has not been the same since he left the Giants, if we're being honest.
No.
He has not been the same since he left the Giants in 2016, 2017. So it's a lot of trust to put into somebody like this in a wide receiver position, especially $18 million worth of it. But will it work out? We'll see. I mean, we got a whole season to watch. I'm praying that he doesn't get injured. I really liked Odell as wide receiver. I hate that he's playing for the Ravens, but I hope that he's injury free and proves me wrong that he's worth the $18 million. I just don't think that it was a very smart way to spend $18 million.
Yeah. So I think y'all have been waiting for this since yesterday, since the news broke. So I'm
Waiting.
gonna give you my initial thoughts and my honest reaction, and then what I think is gonna happen. Looking at Odell's career with the Giants, and he went to the Browns for like a year, I think, and then it's kind of fallen down ever since then. I think we're a little insane for paying $18 million. To be honest, I don't think it's worth $18 million whatsoever. I remember he was asking for like a crazy amount before he got signed with us.
He was asking for 16.
I think he got guaranteed 15, right?
Yeah, we gave him 15 guaranteed, $18 million contract. I think insane.
The last millions were incentives.
So I did a little research, and I know that Lamar was heavily involved with that signing. I don't know why we still did 18 million, 15 million guaranteed, but now we're here. I hope that this means that they're going to take a step forward into handling this issue that we've had for the past 8 years, 7 years of having no wide receivers. I think Odell will be a good wide receiver 3, solid wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4. Having him as my wide receiver 1 and 2 right now kind of make my chest hurt. But it is what it is. But yeah, I don't know, bro. We'll see. Hopefully, I know he took all of last year off to get healthy, so hopefully he got some strong knees now. You know what I mean? He's playing on our field isn't turf, so he's not playing on turf, so that's a good thing as well. But I don't know, bro. I just hope he stays healthy and I hope he does well, and I hope that they can prove me wrong, prove everybody wrong in the country that he was worth the money that we paid for. Now, what I think he's gonna probably have like a 500 yard season. 350, 400 yards sounds fair. And
Man, that's it.
That's it.
He's not okay. We're playing the offense. We're playing the run heavy offense, and he has bad knees. Run heavy offense, bad knees.
So here, Greg, I have a question for you because
for sure
you're the Ravens fan. Do you think OBJ would sign with y'all if he didn't 100% know that Lamar was coming back?
No, I don't think he would. I don't think he would sign with us if Lamar was not coming back. No, not at all, for sure.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. I feel like this was like a big indicator that it's Lamar's deal will get done.
I mean, yeah. What Obed say in the chat? Where else was he going? Facts.
Where else? Nobody's doing anything.
Yeah. So he looked like he stuck with us for at least another year.
Yeah.
But
it's facts.
I don't know if he's going to play or not, though. I think he's going to play now. Obviously, we signed OBJ. I think he's going to play. But who knows what the future holds? I think we just got to take it. When I say we, just Ravens fans. One year at a time, I guess. Let's see what happens. But I don't know, bro. We'll see. But as far as the signing, I'm kind of mad that we paid that much for him, and I think that we waited too late to sign a fucking wide receiver. I don't know why we waited till April, 2 weeks before the fucking draft to sign a wide receiver. Stupid as hell. But we'll see. I'm excited for at least next season because that means we're taking a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
That's all I really got to say.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Any more thoughts about OBJ, Ravens, or anybody else?
Nah. I'm just really honestly intrigued as to what the hell is going to happen with Lamar Jackson. Will he play? Will he not play? We shall know.
Me and you too, brother.
I think
me and you as well. So
it's just a weird situation, man.
Yeah, for sure. Well, guys, we appreciate you guys. The viewers I think we had 3 today, so that's a improvement.
3 and 1 constant. So shout out to you.
Yes,
we need some sound effects here, Eddie. We need some clapping. Woo!
Yeah, something. Yeah,
let's see what we got here, man.
Confetti.
See what we
little
got
horn. That's big. 3 viewers. We'll take it. We appreciate whoever who tuned in and gave us Matthew, right? That's the name, Eddie? Matt.
Matt.
Shout out to him. Shout out to him for tuning in.
Greg, do you not consider Ed Reed a hard-hitting safety since you said you were going to flame me up about that?
I think that he is just known for much other things. I think as probably the best cover safety, best deep third safety, smartest safety. I just don't see him as just known as a hard-hitting safety. I think Cam Chancellor's a harder hitter safety. I think Sean Taylor harder hitting safety. I think Paramalu hits harder than him. I think
Malo's a lot bigger. That's
bigger.
that's what I think gives it to him. And no,
He's
I agree with your list. You named 3 safeties that are by far harder hitters than Ed Reed. So I retract the statement about he is one of the hardest hitting. He's probably like 10 to 15 on the list. But him at the U was crazy.
Yeah, it was. I want to give a quick shout out to Matty T, who is a friend of Ed. His @ is Matt MATT _T 1017. He gave us a shout out today, so I wanted to just shout you out as well, bro. 1017. I think I'm saying that right, or 1010.
Yeah, bro. 1017. You know what it is.
Go up.
Yes, sir.
No, yeah. Shout out to Matt, man. Shout out to all the city fans. You know what I'm saying? I put that in the group chat and people fucked with it. So shout out to them and shout out to Matt for posting it out there.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to Matt. Wish the best to him, whatever he's going on with his life. Shout out to him again. And as far as the rest of our viewers who are watching this at a later time, appreciate you guys. Try to catch us on a Monday night if you can. Live would be cool to see you guys interact in the comments and whatnot. As always, follow us everywhere. That's Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. I'm on social media at 352 Blitz. All one word. Show us some love on there. Keep liking, keep following, keep shouting us out. We appreciate you guys. We love y'all. We will catch y'all next time. Take care.
Take it easy. And